Welcome to Crystal's Creations. Let's tour the June garden. Good morning, everyone. Let's see what the rain did for the garden last night. It's early. It's just about 5:45, and we had some very welcome rain. So I thought I'd start out the morning with a little garden tour. It looks like the peppers did quite well. These are jalafuegos. This is cilantro that grew into coriander and I've allowed to go to seed. As you can see, I have quite a bit of that around the outside of the garden. A couple of peppers in here, a big hot gem, a very small jalapeno. This is actually a Thai chili pepper that I overwintered. This is its third year, I think. One little sunflower. Of course, some nasturtium. And a long line of tomatoes. It's a variety of tomatoes this year, from Bushwick steak, there's a Dr. Weichel's, and just regular beef steak, along with a few basil plants that are also going to seed. It's been so hot. And some marigolds. I have some extra space in the front, as you can see, that I'll have to decide what I'm going to use to fill in there. Just below in the black fabric bags is my pepper row. And there are more jalafuegos along with some, can't remember, cherry hots. We like hot peppers throughout the year. This is the first year I've grown cherry hots. And you can see they're blooming and there's fruit setting. Hopefully you can see that. I'll let you know just how hot they are. In the middle is another row of tomatoes, but these are in larger black fabric bags, which worked really well last year. Sweet 100 is a new variety we're growing this year. And before you say anything, I've done a really poor job pruning this year. We're still producing tomatoes. So thankful to have gotten rain last night. These are those bush beans that have really done a great job for such a little bit. If you can see this bean growing up the trellis, it is a King of Glory lima bean. Never grown those before, so we'll see what happens. There are some other places in the garden, but there are 2 or 3 in here that I think will take off once these bush beans are done. It shouldn't be too much longer. And this is a pot we just harvested potatoes out of. So it's kind of a hodgepodge of what I had left to go in. So there are a couple of sweet potato slips, as well as 2 ground cherries. And yeah, I don't know that that's going to work out so well, so this pot may change, but just so you know, that's where it's starting. This is a weedy area that I hope to get to today. It's gotten pretty bad. And this is the cucumber trellis. So I'm going to be harvesting cucumbers this morning. Our first few have come in. That is a poblano. First time I've grown those. As well as beets that are finishing up and okra that is coming in. And believe it or not, 3 or 4 okra plants usually provide us with as much as we can eat. Zucchini and squash. Let's get a closer look. Let's see what we've got in here. Blooms. Oh, and squash that needs to be picked right away. More zucchini are coming. I think we've picked 4 or 5 off this plant already. And of course our little fig tree over there is still pretty happy. Let's go into the side we expanded this year. A little cucumber plant that I didn't think was going to make it. That's a market more. And then next to it are Armenian cucumbers, which are actually melons, which I'm going to try to trellis. I know they get pretty big, but we'll see what happens. I don't have much space and I wanted to try it, so. Okay, more tomatoes in random pots. So I believe that's a Sweet 100, and then this is a Crazy Berry. My husband loves these. They make the Crazy Berry makes sort of a small yellow, really sweet tomato that we enjoy. That is also basil that's going to seed. And let's take a look over here. Those are the additional King of Glory lima beans I mentioned, and they're just starting to climb up this trellis, if you can see it. That's just a piece of cattle panel that they're climbing up. So we'll see what happens with those. I need to get something else in here. And as you can see, dill that's going to seed. It's so pretty. Isn't that a beautiful flower? This is basil. That also needs to be picked right away. Spicy basil mostly. And this is a lemon blush. This is a tomato that actually a neighbor gave me at the beginning of the season. So I'm excited. I've never grown that one before either. And moving along, these are my 4 eggplants. They appear to be doing very well. They're blooming. And so we hope for good things for those. I can't remember the variety. I'll look that up and post it in the description. And this is a haphazard little bed that clearly needs some attention. There's some random tomato plants in it. I know one of them is the geranium kiss. There's a Cherokee purple down there on the end. And let's see, a bush stick. So along the back, kind of sprawling out, trying to get away from that weeding I need to do, is a tomatillo. I don't even know if you could make it out. That's the tomatillo. So it's got the little pods on it. So I hate to uproot it. So I think I'm just going to try and stake it up this morning. That's my other garden chore in addition to weeding and harvesting cucumbers. So if you see over there, those are more squash I need to get from the back end of that plant. Let me zoom out so you can get an idea of what that side of the garden looks like. I'm actually standing in the extension, looking over at the original garden. And of course my sunflowers. I can't have a year without a couple of those. And this is celery. Celery and one little comfrey start that I'm probably going to want to move if I don't want to have there forever. Another tomato. As you can tell, we really love tomatoes. So does my son and daughter. So we go through quite a few of them. And as I'm stepping, we've developed a problem with moles or voles. I'm not sure which one. So whenever I step down, sometimes I get a little tunnel with a hollow cavity that I'm stepping into. So this was also sort of a random bed. It was for celery. I got some celery starts from that same neighbor. And it looks like a sweet potato. You can see that vine, the sweet potato vine. is doing quite well in there, so we're gonna leave it. See what happens. It all looks very healthy. This is the outside bed, and those are eggplant. I think five finger. Excuse me, okra. Five finger okra, I believe. So we'll see. All the things we love are planted. Maybe not exactly where they should be. And I wanted to show you our first cucumbers that I'm about to pick this morning. I don't know if you can see those. There are a couple of them in there. There's one, and there's one. That's definitely big enough, and it's got pricklies on it, so I need to grab my gloves. And I'll just give you a little bit of an overview. I had a neighbor stop by, and she asked, "So what have you been eating out of the garden?" And it made me stand back and think quite a bit. We've harvested potatoes and spinach and string beans, lots of lettuce, although that's finished now, and beets and zucchini, pesto. So it's been a lot of fun so far, and I'm looking forward to lots of tomatoes. So thank you for joining me this morning. It's a beautiful morning. I'll post some pictures after my work is done, but I need to get to it before it gets too hot. I think it's going to be near 90 today. Let's take a look at the pretty sunflower from the outside. There's a little friend on there this morning. And here are a few of the pictures that I promised during the garden tour. I neglected to show you the walking onions and our new grapevine. Thank you for watching. See you next time.